Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, returning to you for episode 26 in the series. Today I want to talk about the new patient experience and mainly the doctor trust exam. And if these sound like foreign terms to you, I will define what that means and what that's about. So this isn't about marketing for new patients. I'll talk about that in some future episodes. This one's about once they get there and how do we retain them. And for the life of me, let's just go over some, foundational things about this. I don't understand what happened to the days of when a patient would call up and they would schedule an appointment with the doctor. What a novel idea. They're actually coming in to see the doctor. We've lost that somehow. I don't know what's gone on, and because we're just in such a rush to jump into treatment and get them in and start diagnosing them and getting work out of them and get them in the schedule. But we forget that we're dealing with human beings here, and we're trying to develop a bond with patients when they come in. So when they call and schedule, they got to spend some time with you, doc. I mean, that's an important thing. They got to come in there and get to know you and who you are and what you're about. Because three things have to happen when a new patient arrives at your office. If these things don't happen, or we don't create this in a patient by the time they leave at the end of visit one, the chances of you retaining these patients long term. Look, and what's the whole goal of the new patient experience? It should be not to diagnose as much work as possible, or get them in the schedule to come back for hygiene, or get them into treatment right away. It's not about that. The whole goal of the end of the new patient experience is when that person's exiting your office. If you've done an amazing job with them, they're walking out with that wow effect, going, "Wow, I found my dental home. I'm in a place where I want to be. I'm off that dental carousel, and this is it. This is my dentist. I want to come here. I want to bring my family here. I want to refer others here, and I'm in." So that's what we need to shoot for first. We have a lifetime ahead of us to treat them and work on them and get their families in and everything else. But the most important thing right now, three things have to occur on day one when they're spending time in your office and they're spending time with you. They have to trust you, they have to believe you, and they got to like you. You got those three things? They got to trust you, they got to believe you, and they got to like you. Because if they don't, most likely they're not coming back, and they're not going to spend money in your practice. So let's not, we tend to assume just because a patient makes it to your office, they're a patient and they want to be there, and that's not true. Most people are not happy about being there to start off with, and there's no guarantee they're going to stay. So we make the critical error of assuming just because a patient arrives as a new patient, they're in. A lot can go wrong after they arrive in the practice if we don't take care of them the proper way. All right, so we have to, from the beginning, establish the fact that there is some trust built. All right, trust is built in part by two things: credibility and reliability. Credibility is the words that you speak, and reliability is how consistently your actions match up with those words. All right, so if you promise you're going to see them as a new patient at 3 o'clock and you stroll in around 3:30, 4 o'clock to see them, credibility is already blown. All right, you didn't keep your word about time. They might not tell you this, but subconsciously this is the way they feel. Or that they can trust that you tell them one thing, it's not going to be something different later on. That the actions match your words, and that means your staff setting expectations on the phone. When you arrive, all the interactions you have with them, so what comes out of your mouth is critical, that your actions match up with your words. This is where you start building trust, or that we're not doing things to scare them away. They've told us about their bad past experiences, and then we're duplicating the same experience, because like we did a bait and switch on them at the front desk. This is a classic one. There's companies out there that teach, have people come in to tell them anything to get them in the door. That's not fair. That's not right. It's not respecting their time that we do a bait and switch. Oh, you said you take my insurance. Well, and we're telling them what we really meant was not okay. All right, that's going to be a problem. So building trust is really important. All human relations are based on trust. You don't have trust, you have nothing. All right, so they got to trust you as their doctor. All right. Second thing is they got to believe you. They got to believe that you're on the ball. You know what you're talking about. We can't be wishy-washy, or we're not sure. We'll get back to you. That kind of thing. They got to see that we are on our game. That we know our stuff. Everything flows. It's not chaotic. They're not waiting. We're efficient on everything and on what that we're doing. So they got to really believe, and they got to believe what comes out of your mouth is what's really best for them, and you're acting in their best interest. That's important. All right, and they got to like you. And let's not discount liking this. Ask yourself the last time you went to somebody and you kept going and spending money for that person if you didn't like them. Doesn't happen, right? Don't discount liking this. And we all assume that, oh, they're going to meet us and they're going to love our office and they're going to like us. Okay, that's a huge blind spot. Don't assume that people are going to like you just because they show up there, or that we have such a nice office and we think we do things so great. Right? Really, you really have to go out and create an experience when they're first into the practice. That's going to create that likiness within them. All right. So I know it's hard to believe. I'm gonna shock some people that are watching this when I tell you this. There are some people that don't like me. I know you're shocked. I can't believe it myself. But truth of the matter is, you just never know. You have to go out and assume. You are a certain way sometimes, and maybe your personality rubs people the wrong way. There's probably people that watch these videos and don't like the way I am. It happens. I'm not trying to be that way. I want people to like me, but but you just can't. When you have human beings here, you just never know. How it's going to go with somebody unless you really are conscious about how you're being, what you're saying, and how you're going about doing it with them, and the process you're bringing them through, to really get them to see the really good side of you, so they can actually see that they they like you. And I like this guy, I like this woman, I feel comfortable here, I trust them and believe them, and they're treating me so differently than I've been treated before. They care and respect me and my time, and they're worried about my needs, they're really interested in me. These go into them liking you, okay? But again, how are they going to get these three realizations to occur? Trusting, believing, and liking. You have to spend time with them, and it can't be 5 minutes. They didn't make that appointment, and they shouldn't be making that appointment with the hygienist, the assistant, the front desk, and they spend time with all these people, and they see you for 5 minutes. Or a few minutes in and out the door, and we're diving into their mouth already. You got to start building the relationship from day one. The whole day is rapport on day one. So critical. But we're on this high, speed, time thing right now these days where everything has to happen yesterday, that we forget that we're building a relationship here, and it's so critical. You're asking them, for a long-term commitment, a marriage, and you haven't got off the first date yet. All right. So this is so critical on first day that you build time in your schedule. All right, so you spend some time with them. This doctor, I call it the doctor trust exam. It's 20 focused minutes where you and the patient are going to sit knee to knee, face to face, not just talking about medical stuff, and really getting to know what you're all about. A lot of times we sit down with these new patients and we're all over the place. Either we're just saying too much or too little. Doctors are famous for this. Either they're not great communicators, we don't say much of anything, all right? Or we're just talking our heads off about how great we are, how wonderful we are, and our qualifications and everything we know, and blowing them away with our knowledge, all right? And the general rule of thumb about that, on that first visit, the more you got a patient talking, the more you're winning. The more you're talking, the more you're losing, right? So we got to really get into their mind, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, get their thoughts on dentistry. This is what the Doctor Trust exam is about. I have a whole outline for this. You don't have to memorize this. You can follow this as an outline and a cheat card in their file. They wouldn't even know what's in there, just to take you through the steps of how this trust exam is going to go. But it's 20 focused minutes of really getting in communication with them, getting to know them, letting them get to know who you are, what you're about, your philosophy, the whole, on dentistry, and your approach, and how you're different, and what separates you from other people, and getting agreement that they're on board with all this when they start. All right, because a lot of times we go into these conversations and there's no end goal in mind. What outcome are you looking to achieve at the end of this conversation? As I said before, you're looking to achieve, like, I've developed this bond to a degree, and they like me, they trust me, they believe me to a degree, and they're going to come back. All right, that's what we're looking at. We're looking to make lifetime patients out of new patients when they come in for the first time. What's a lifetime mean? 30 years? No, you're not going to be there in 30 years. To me, if a patient comes in and your new patient experience nails it, all right, you should be able to create a lifetime patient, which will be about 8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years is a lifetime in my book. So and you can do some calculations on that in terms of revenue. If you know that you could say that your new patient experience will generate a new patient that's going to last on average of 8 to 10 years in your practice, how much money are you going to generate from that patient being in your practice 8 to 10 years? And I often ask the speaking to audience all the time, what's the value of a new patient? And the mistake they always make is, well, it's $250, $300, $800, whatever it is on the first day. When you figure in all the diagnostic work and if we do a cleaning, no, that's not the value of the new patient. You're thinking short term there. The value of a new patient is the long-term retention value of that patient. All right. And if we know that they're going to be there and they're going to spend an average, let's say, of $1,000 a year minimally over their life in the practice, do the math. That the average new patient should spend $8,000 to $10,000 over the lifetime of your practice. All right. So if you got 10 new patients a month, and you can say they're going to spend $1,000 a year, which is basically the conservative estimate based on insurance and other factors, you know that if 10 come in and you keep 10, that 8 to 10, in 10 years, you've added $100,000, per month into the long-term pipeline of your practice. All right, so that you have to just do the math on this and figure it out. I'm doing math when I'm driving. I'm hoping that was right what I just said. I think it is. Anyway, but you get the idea. We're thinking long here, not just for the immediate term on that. Okay, so this is what the whole goal should be. All right, and you don't want to basically give this away to someone else to do. Only you can develop that bond because you're the doctor and you're the one you want there. You to develop a relationship. Great. I hope they like your hygienist. They have to like your hygienist and your assistants and your team. But at the end of the day, it's your name on the door. All right. They came to see you. You were the one that recommended to come see for whatever reason. You were the one promoting yourself out there on the internet or through your marketing or through a referral or whatever. Build this time in. 20 minutes is not a lot to ask. You may have like an hour and a half new patient experience when it's all said and done. There's many parts of the new patient experience. But all I want you, Doc, is to spend 20 minutes of focused, time connecting with that new patient. It'll make a huge difference in your retention level and creating a valuable patient right from the get-go. All right? So I hope that was good. I think crammed a lot of stuff in that video today. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, again, please continue to share these videos out there and spread the word. I'll be back with episode 27 before you know it. Thanks for watching.